Is it the final conversation or just final conversation?
Just final conversation.
King. So it's a phrase that refers to war.
That's correct.
That's right. And it comes from a Latin phrase that was printed on Louis XIV's cannons. So does this mean that the theme of the album has moved away from the more introspective sort of lyrics that you had in previous songs? Yeah, or to a more worldly outlook?
Yeah, definitely. It's more of a story. I wanted to take it away from myself and write about characters involved in the whole scope of a story. You know, how basically the domino effect, how one thing can affect so many people in different respects. So I try to write it from the perspective of about 10 characters based within a story. So it's like the conflict within, the conflict of letting go, the conflict of the world, you know, like a global sense, but still trying to tie it into making it relevant for the listener so they can map it on their own lives to how they feel about it.
Why did you decide to stay in Australia with this record instead of working?
I think we tried the overseas thing.
It really was 2 records we tried it.
Yeah, that's
mixed
right.
It first time, then we tracked and mixed it the second time. This time it was like, we've done that, let's do something else.
Different, yeah. I think you've got to keep trying to trick your brain into striving for something new, you know what I mean? So, and not only that, keep the keep everybody guessing. Plus it's going to have a different sound. I mean, just purely for the fact that it's produced in Australia, you know what I mean? It always comes back, like Amargo and Begins Here came back with a different sound than when they went out. So
plus we've bought houses, so we've got plants to water, pets to feed, bills to pay.
Yeah, that's right.
A lot easier to do when you're at home.
Okay.
Trying to feed the cat over the internet's pretty hard.
And I think that's when you're first starting out too, you have this idea in your head that it's really going to be the pinnacle to go and make a record overseas, and we're going to sound just the best if we're going to do that. But
and our songs are somehow going to be better.
And we're going to be people are going to somehow know that it's been produced overseas, and so they're going to love the songs more. But in the end, we sort of spend the process of just coming to terms with the fact that it's just the songs that matter in the end.
That's right.
I mean, they can't be they can't be recorded on a boombox at home, but they need a certain amount of they need a certain amount of skill and love and care to make them sound great. But in the long run, if the songs are great, you know.
We lived out overseas fancy.
Yeah.
We did that.
Yeah. That's right.
Okay, the success you've had so far has been pretty much totally within the modern age of the music industry. Things like MySpace, downloading iPods, all that sort of thing. How do you guys feel about, like, if I assume that your music is being illegally downloaded and shared?
I think everybody's is,
Yeah. How do you guys feel about that?
Fine.
Well, I mean, you're talking to a band that's only ever made money from touring live, so financially it hasn't impacted much that I know of, because CD sales were on and down from when we sort of started to have any success anyway. I mean, that might sound like a cop out for that particular part of the industry, but I don't have a solution for it. So currently, I mean, I can fight it and say, well, you know, it's shit and people should get, punish everyone for doing it, but
It's Lars Ulrich to do that for
that's right, he's got it covered.
You'd see a label rep grimacing.
And then again, they've been one of the first bands, or at least one of the first bands on a major label to embrace, one of the new forms of alternative.
My dad used to say to me about LPs, because he used to own hundreds of them, and he said there's just a romance about having the sleeve with that tangible thing. And I find myself, I'm old school like that. I like to have the CD in the wall unit where I could walk up and go flicking through. It's almost like a trophy thing. It's
like to read the credits.
Stuff like that. See what artwork's gone into it. See where the band's at, headspace-wise, with their visual, aspect and the tone of the album. And I think you can get a lot of that from just the visual aspect of what they've done with the artwork, what a CD looks like, And I find that's being lost. I find the storytelling is becoming more and more eroded as we travel along. The storytelling is no longer romantic anymore. It's let's bang out another hit, and soon there won't be albums. It'll just be singles or three, or mini albums, because bands won't be able to afford it. B, record companies won't give a shit to put that much money into it, and C, people haven't got the time. I mean, our attention spans have gone from listening to these, you know, hour-long epics to listening to 4-minute fucking condensed pop songs. I mean, really, and it's getting shorter. It really is, because all music is now is the gaps between the ads. Do you know what I mean? And it's fucking horrifying for me. So,
corporate rock, the way of the future.
Corporate rock, yeah.
and it will be.
Sign up now.
How does it feel for you guys to go from being basically a local Brisbane band, playing to the regular shows, to not enormous crowds, to sort of the point where kids are sort of calling you their favourite band, and up and coming bands are calling you one of their main influences? Is that weird, or?
I didn't even know that was going on. Look at these people.
Shit. I'm gonna show you when you saw that. I mean, you know, the crowds are ever surprising every time. Like you kind of, the last time we played in Sydney, we did the Roundhouse and sold it out, and that was the biggest show I think of ours that we'd sold out, which was great. And, I mean, it's still growth, which is really good. It always keeps you excited. That's what's kept us excited from the start. It seems to.
It's great, but there's always bigger venues. As soon as you like, we used to do water from the start, used to like Waterloo and stuff, and like
Basement.
half fill it, just go, oh my god, there's like 500 people there. And then you sell it out and go, oh, we sold it out. 500 people. And then you
Next up,
keep moving up, and you know, it's
right.
no different. I mean, for me, like we did the Roundhouse in Sydney, say for example. And so you do it, and you go, oh, that's great. Oh, the Horden's like only a kilometre
We're looking for the
away.
next place. It's maybe 2,500 or something. You just call up with your friends, try and get everyone in there you can. Get 100,000 guests, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And once you get Horden, it's like, that's every park, man. Shit.
That's alright.
It's just across the
You
road.
generally, I mean, you have a tendency to look sideways more than back, you know, like you're kind of always watching your peers, watching your cogs, watching your carnivals, and just kind of, you know,
We're beating them.
trying to keep them down.
Yeah.
You can't be down, that's it.
So what are your immediate plans once the album's out?
Get drunk.
Tour.
Yeah.